Friends, welcome to Battletech Oath of Endosteel, episode 4, 3028, part 8. This will probably not be the last episode, given the fact that Anko Sapaku apparently wants to perform every action known to man, and also I've played with this group for a while, so I'm pretty sure that the ball is going to go much longer than I anticipate. That said, this is probably the second or third to last episode of the first season. After that, we're gonna meet up privately for 1 week to do a direct to Patreon only. Y'all regular ass normies are not gonna get the episode. We're gonna just sit for a while, like an hour, and talk about how season 1 went and any changes we want for season 2. When that episode comes out, again, it will be direct to Patreon only. My same policy applies. You just any amount of money on my Patreon for just 1 month, and you get access to all of the old files, so you'll be able to look in on it when it happens. After that, we will take 1 week's break, and then we'll get back on going on things. So I think that season 2 will probably start somewhere near mid to late November. Our first guest, who will almost certainly show up in the first episode, will be Soundwave's Ghost. I got Ratosaurus. I got Grimdark James. I'm going to be talking to Big Spoon. If you simp for me in Discord, there's a pretty good chance you can show up as a guest. That's how you get that Big Spoon connection. That's how you get that, Cottontail, Pondo the Mad. Simps.
Pondo wants to be in here?
No, but he was a simp for me once.
Oh. Damn.
I maintain, I think I said this in one of the Discord chats, James is allowed to come on only if he plays on our team.
Yeah, you definitely said that. I remember that for sure.
I don't
had to fight James.
I don't want to just get killed by James.
I was on the player team when James guested, and he killed all of I played the entire NPC support force. He killed all of my forces and left the players perfectly alive. It was agonizing getting shot to pieces. While everyone else is like, man, we're getting so many kills up here. And I'm like, I'm dying. Everything I have.
I mean, that was me last time.
I will talk to Pondo and see if he wants to guess. But I think that that's a man who needs some time away from Battletech for a little while. All right. Anything else we need to cover before this episode starts?
It's not my fault that Anko has so much to do. AP, you've left her with a plate of just no.
Okay, all right. I way to not take responsibility for your actions.
No, I'm just fucking with you, man.
All right. So we start with a totally blank screen that fades away into the breaking news DBC logo.
Says technical difficulties under the screen.
So the camera focuses in on James Jives. He's at some sort of memorial where people are laying flowers in a field filled with candles on what is clearly just outside the Hiroka Estates. Instead of his usual intro, he says, "Tonight, the people of Whittington cry for their beloved nobility. John of von Hohenheim trapped on the far side of the Cretan border. Kurosapaku, whose death was a quiet announcement just days ago. Sebastian Bassett took an off-world, unscheduled trip with no contact home. Angelique Latour, who has gone into seclusion 3 months ago. Tamari Hiroka, torn apart from her family in their time of need. In this place, at this time, the people of Whittington have come to grieve and mourn and pray for the lost and fallen, but none more so than Maya Hiroka. Word has spread from sources on New Avalon that this future young baroness is affected by Golden Weed Syndrome. Every habitable planet terraformed by the Star League, or in the shadow times before that golden age, bears a distinct, unique mark that makes them utterly alien to human life. On Whittington, that takes the form of Golden Weed Syndrome. While few suffer from this genetic disorder, it can be debilitating, especially to any who need to perform the unique neurological conditions of neural helmet interface with a Battlemech or an aerospace fighter. The DBC and the Lyran people send our hearts to the skies. as we pray for the safety of our allies and for young Maya Hiroka. Tomorrow night, an interview with Sir Erwin Faber Lake Reincoat and how he copes with adult onset golden weed syndrome. And then it fades away, and we see that Jasper is watching this report from his study, where we can see the DBC broadcast going on in the background with hundreds of people gathering candles in the fields outside of his mansion.
Yeah. I'm pouring myself a drink because I imagine it's past 6 or whatever.
Yep.
So I have a nice decanter.
So
some sort of brown alcohol, whiskey-y. I pour myself and take a sip. As I look troubled with the news and the events and what I need to do this year.
Okay. So it's August 31st. You guys have until November 5th to play around. I've told you.
That's the ball, right? November 5th is the Kerensky ball?
Yes, November 5th is the Kerensky ball, commemorating the day that he left the Inner Sphere.
Right.
I've let you know, Anko, that you have a number of things you want to do. You don't have time to do them all. You've scheduled them into a priority. So we're going to intersperse your scenes with any scenes these folks have to do and with the ongoing storyline.
That is fair.
Now, Eric, you've recorded a special commercial, which we will intersperse into this episode. Yeah. We also have our first guest-written advertisement. They were going to voice it, but they didn't have time, so I will instead be doing all the voices for the guest advertisement. But I didn't write it, and you can tell, because it's going to be really different from my...
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple things at the very least.
Hit me with it. Well, let me say this. We need to talk about your knights.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Each of you has chosen or not chosen a series of knights. So let's begin with the knighting ceremony of Captain Tyr Sauron then. How about that?
Excellent.
All right, so he's accepting a sort of ceremonial sword from you. And then he just belts it on and immediately gets down to business. He hands you a notepad filled with plans. And he says, I, of course, swear my allegiance to you, my baron, but, as you also know, the oath includes that I provide you counsel of wisdom during your time of need. These are my opinions about what my job should be. The station is currently fully functional, and I see no reason to interrupt that flow at this time. However, I would like to take the unfinished business and use it to help build the Stage 7 renovations. Salvaging is really just reverse constructing, and I've been salvaging and operating in 0G for most of my life. I think that I could be of better use directing the efforts personally out there than being inside the station trying to direct traffic. And the second thing, it's not going to have any immediate gain for you. In fact, there may be no gain monetarily at all, but I'd like to set up a call center groundside. A lot of these periphery captains, when they come back from beyond the hyperpulse generator range, they just want somebody to talk to. They've only had their crew to talk to for weeks or sometimes months and occasionally even years. And they jam up station directors and operators with inane nonsense and just any query that they can get their hands on. I would like to set up a minimum wage workers for college students and the elderly, just to talk to them about literally anything. Keep the crews distracted. And when they need something more technical, they reroute them back to the operators on the ivory tower.
Yeah, so I think Lachlan kind of makes some of the faces that I was just making, oh, these are actually pretty good ideas faces. And we'll say, Sir Sauron, these ideas are all, or both rather, well in line with my thoughts on the plans for Whittington. If you think you are better suited out in a salvage operation, just make sure you're staying safe out there. You're one of us nobility now, and Whittington needs you. As for your idea, it seems like it would fit neatly within our expansion of jobs programs. And as I've been saying throughout the last few months, the real end goal is to make Whittington a place people want to come. Small touches are important to that.
So he nods, and he turns to leave, and he tries to pull off a dramatic cloak swish. But anyone who owns a cloak knows that it takes a lot of practice to pull that off, and this is clearly his first time. So it's more like a flag flapping in a mild breeze. It doesn't go off like he planned, but he doesn't stop. He keeps going.
Yeah, and like I think as he's leaving, Lachlan will call out and just say, "Oh, and Sir Sauron, if you have any other ideas, feel free to let me know."
He doesn't stop walking away, but he raises a fist to you and says, "Of course, my lord." What do you do in the immediate aftermath of that meeting, since it sounds like you had something you wanted to do?
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to do, which just got kind of de-emphasized last time, was reach out to Angelique Latour, because like the last time her and Lachlan talked, they had that conversation where she was like, "Well, fuck you. You like completely ignored me for the first 2 years we were here." And he was like, "Yeah, that's fair. I'm sorry for that." So he would want to try to like bring her in on what he's planning legislation wise.
Interesting. All right. So as the news report just said, she has not been heard of from 3 months. Are you like making contact with her house and doing like my people will talk to your people? Are you making a personal entreaty?
Lachlan will make a personal phone call or like whatever would be appropriate.
Okay. All right.
I guess video messages are cheap on Planet, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you probably do that.
She agrees to answer you audio only.
Okay.
All right. So it takes a little while, like 20 or 30 minutes, but eventually you get her on the phone, and she says, "Lachlan, this is such an honor to hear from you personally. What can I do for you?"
The honor's mine. I appreciate you taking my call. I wanted to reach out in the wake of our last conversation. I have some ideas I think you might be interested in.
I see.
Just as I did last year, I plan to get everyone together at the ball this year, make sure that we're all prepared going into the Senate session, as opposed to unaware and causing surprise, though I guess it didn't entirely fix that, did it? I am hoping to talk about two things in particular, and if I can get you on board, I would appreciate your support.
I'll be honest. There was a meeting that's being organized that I'm sure you will be invited to by Sebastian Bassett. I'm sure there's an invitation for you forthcoming. It's basically the same thing you're talking about doing right now. Maybe the two of you can merge your ideas?
No one has seen or heard from Bassett in, I mean, I can't remember how many months it was.
It's been 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah, it's like in 5 months.
He'll be back in time for the Kerensky ball.
Very well. I don't particularly need to stamp my name on any meetings or what have you. I don't particularly care. What I care about is all of us being on the same page going into the Senate session.
I understand. Is there any particular issues you wanted to discuss with me personally or let me know about ahead of time?
Two, in fact. I am going to seek to reaffirm our spending decision from last year. I'm couldn't be more mixed about the fact that I was correct in guessing that we had a war on our hands in the near future. Nonetheless, I don't think now is the time to slack off on trying to develop the military industry that will keep Whittington safe through this next conflict. I know that you took some convincing last time. I wanted to reach out now so that we could talk it over.
I'm on board.
Excellent.
It's clear that the additional spending will be necessary to protect Whittington.
I'm glad you agree.
I believe that you will also have Sebastian Bassett's vote.
That's also good to know. I'm glad to see that Sebastian... what would he say? No, he'd probably say, I'm glad to see that Baron Bassett is not going to take what I had to do last year as some sort of personal slight against him.
There's like an uncomfortable pause.
And then he'll say, the second thing I'm thinking of talking over is slightly more controversial, perhaps that, or maybe not. I would like all of the barons to join a united resolution to mount a rescue to save Jana von Hohenheim. I believe that leaving one of our own out there behind enemy lines is not only unconscionable, but presents a face of Whittington that I'm unwilling to show in this time.
Jana is my friend, and of course I would like to rescue her. But any such resolution would need to be done in a sealed, private Senate session. And my vote would be entirely contingent upon sufficient forces going and staying. We cannot sacrifice all of us to save Jana, and we cannot sacrifice Whittington to take Dela Cruz.
We're on the same page.
I look forward to seeing your final invasion plan.
I'm not much of a tactician myself, but I know that others who are will be on board.
Oh, I think she probably says, "Well, just ask Kuro," and then she pauses for like an awkward time and says, "I apologize. He would have been the one that I would have gone to."
There's just like a long pause after she says that, and then maybe it like almost seems like he may like hung up the phone or something, and then he'll say, "Yes. Well, while I have you, is there anything that I can help you with?"
No, I don't think that there is.
Very well.
You've given all of us barons so much to think about, and much of what you've done in the past has been either inspirational or prescient towards this moment.
I appreciate you saying that. Your vote of confidence means quite a bit. Anyway, if there's anything else I can help you with in the future, please don't be a stranger. I meant what I said to you last time. I intend to make up for previous mistakes.
Okay. She doesn't say anything else, but then hangs up after a appropriately non-awkward amount of time.
Yeah. I think Lachlan will we probably don't need to see the scene for everybody, but he probably makes kind of similar but less formal kind of inquiries, giving people that he knows are on his side a heads up. He just had that specific moment for Latour after their kind of, she basically told him fuck you, you haven't paid any attention to me and now are looking for my help, and so now he's trying to treat her as an actual ally.
Okay. We're gonna do.
If you want me to make some kind of roll or something to see how.
No, I mean your goals and hers align somewhat at this time.
Cool.
We're going to do the House Hiroka work next, but first, an advertisement.
when you're strong-willed, you stay true to yourself. Now that's why, since the Star League, primary beer is brewed with Whittington's own high country meadow wheat. Primary beer, never your second choice.
Wait, is primary beer made of wheat or barley? We've now heard both.
Meadow. Whatever.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
It depends on the year.
Yeah, I think it's meadow wheat.
Yeah, because that's what you have like the monopoly over. That's what the Draconis Combine was trying to get, right?
There
exactly.
There is a
wheat
sense. Barley combination beer brewed in the Netherlands called wit beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's say it's both.
I like it.
Jasper, you've got the Sophie's Choice of knights. You have a lot of knight candidates. You got a lot of choices. There's been a lot of suggestions on Discord and in the YouTube comment section as to who you should go for. I went with my advice is the same as Sam's. You don't make peace with allies. You make peace with enemies.
Right. Well, something that I considered in the week between was that Jasper has a very strong sense of nobility, and that Jasper wouldn't just promote someone common into the noble sphere. Right. I would go to bout to defend even an asshole noble from being tried in public court. So I feel like the other part of that is that I wouldn't let just anybody be able to waltz into nobility. You truly have to be better. So sorry, Arcades, you're not. Docky Herzogs will not be getting it this year. I believe I'd be giving it to House Davies. So that being said, I do have plans for them and how they can achieve glory on their own.
So Edward attends the ceremony with his whole family, his wife Mary, his sons James and Leopold, his daughter Victoria, and his grandchildren Alfred, Philip, and Marianne. He is knighted, and he talks it over with his family after the ceremony. And basically, his grandchildren, Philip and Marianne, are going to compete to see who will become mech pilot after he passes.
I would not be cool with that. I would demand that he has secession lined up.
That is his plan for secession. Is the two of them? They're currently going through mech tech training or at mech Aztec training. And he wants to see who's the better pilot before he.
Oh, I see. I thought you were just saying that they were going to like literally compete, as in compete for it. I was like, I don't want a civil war.
Like after he dies.
Like some Alexander the Great shit.
No, he's waiting. He's waiting to see which of the grandkids is worth sending off to some sort of military college for formal training.
Right. So I feel like what this would look like when I offer this to House Davies, I would probably have done it kind of informally first to him, so he kind of knows that this is going to happen, and then it'll be more formal. But
they all know. Like as soon as he knows, they know.
Oh sure.
Yeah, there's like a formal ceremony, but everybody's already there, like amped up on caffeine, 110% for Grandpa.
Yeah. Well, Edward, I've been thinking a lot. Or actually, I'd probably call him Master Davies, right? I don't know. And I'll call him Edward because it's personal. Say Edward, as we share a drink. Been thinking a lot about what you've done for me since the passing of my father, and how you've given me so much advice. And I only wish to follow and do what my father would do. And there's something I think that I'm prepared to do, and maybe something that be a little surprising. Something.
So he says you're getting married a second time? I am surprised.
No, as I finish pouring myself my drink. No, not at all. It's actually about you and your family, and it's about Whittington.
All right. He looks confused, but he takes a sip of the drink, just like Eric's doing right now.
Yeah. Edward, I would like your family to be mechs pilots, not just technicians. You've served my father and myself with honor, and I want to bestow what I think should be rightfully yours as your own land.
Okay, so he is nodding and trying to hold back manly tears as he drinks instead of saying anything.
Bring it in, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brings it in.
Okay.
He doesn't say
brought.
anything. He's literally blown
good.
away. I mean, this is moving his family from like low tier nobility up to something competitive like a knighthood.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
we'll do the formalities later, buddy. Just
So
and that's it.
what happens is that he spends the rest of the day like getting the extended family together. His son is putting up both of his restaurants as collateral on a loan to get a mech. They're getting
Oh no. Hold on, AP. I love the idea because I want him to keep his triple F burgers. But
no, the triple F burgers are collateral.
No, I would rather give him a mech.
Okay, what are you giving him?
I will give him my
Damn.
crab.
You'll give him your brother's crab?
It's not my brother. I mean,
Yes, but you associate
I
it with
know.
your brother.
I do. And
Okay.
this is me. I'm not giving him my fucking Atlas, and I'm not giving him my Hatchet Man.
I was about
So-
to say, I thought you got the crab to replace the Hatchet Man in the first place, though.
I did, but I don't know. I might. It's okay. I would like to give him the crab.
Okay, he will accept your crab. So he like calls off. He's like, all right, we don't have to turn the restaurants in. No triple F burgers lost today. The tears redouble. Like he knows this mech. He's been working with it for a couple months. It's a good mech, more or less. You guys literally, I think this is the crab you literally carried back from Valentina.
Yeah.
By the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
Some of the fucking diagnostics are still in Korean and stuff. They can't fix. You know what I mean? Like the language settings in the fucking diagnostic computers are permanently in
Japanese.
like kanji.
Yeah.
Or Swedish kanji, I guess. Whatever. Yeah.
No, Swedenese is only in the Rasselhag district.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Forgive me. All right.
Yep. Yeah, so he accepts the crab and pledges like not just lifelong loyalty of himself, but his house to your line. Again, because he's already done that.
Hold on. So is this even better than that? Because I say something like, to show your resolve, I'm giving you a mech that can withstand or perfectly represent your own steadfastness. I want to give you this crab.
He's crying again,
Yeah.
holding back manly tears. His whole family's surrounding him. His wife is bullying him because he's trying not to cry.
I just love their relationship. Sorry.
Well, it's rough. It's rough because they're in their 60s, so he's not going to be a mech
He's not
pilot for very
piloting, I
long.
know.
Yeah, like maybe a
Yeah.
year or two.
But it's a good mech. It's a good starter mech. I don't say that to him, that it's a good starter mech. I described because it's the crab.
Everyone knows
and
that the Blackjack is the best starter mech.
I'm giving
Thanks,
him, I'm giving
HBS
him
Battletech.
the crab is. It has a reputation for being a very durable mech. It can lose its arms and keep going.
To be fair, this particular one died in one shot, though.
Yeah.
True.
Well, the
That
rest
was a
of the
really
body
good
was
shot.
fine.
That was a
Yeah.
really good shot, though. I mean,
Yeah. Well, anyone can do that. So.
Anyone
true.
can do that. Oh my god.
Any mech could theoretically cockpit another mech. You know?
Well,
Actually,
I
I,
mean-
think that guy got double headshotted.
It was
actually.
double headshotted. It was not a
Yeah.
single headshot. Just wait till the age of Gauss rifles and clan ERPPCs, where you can instantly decapitate any mech.
Yep.
after playing some Mechwarriors Online, I know all those things.
Perfect. It should be noted now that Eric started a rebellion on my channel, and now there's a Mechwarrior Online guild named
I feel
after
so bad, dude.
named after the A Time of Total Warfare mercenary unit Crow's Black. So if you want to play some, hop on Discord, ask to get a hashtag Mechwarrior tag, and just follow Eric around. I don't know why you feel bad.
It's not just me.
People
I
are
feel-
enjoying themselves. I know it's not you. It's like 12 people.
I know, but I feel bad because you're like, oh, I'm gonna play some squadrons, and meanwhile we're like hanging out in general with like 5 people playing Mechwarrior online together.
That's fine. I'm not only used to playing squadrons alone, I'm also used to losing all of my actual ranked matches, because as soon as one side starts winning, someone leaves.
Yeah.
Oh my
Incredible.
There's no penalties for leaving. It just gets marked down as a loss. So if you leave, you get a loss, which means the rest of your team can leave without a loss penalty. You just take the hit for the whole team, and then everyone else is stuck doing a half an hour battle that no one is going to get credit for, except you, who just got a loss.
Welcome to AP's review of Squadrons.
The tournament MMR system for that game has been set up to be abused heavily.
Oh boy.
I'm very upset about it. All right. Is there anything else you want to do, House Hiroka, at this moment in the wake of the crabbening?
Well, I did burn a lot of experience in the interim.
Yeah.
And I also want to do a quick recounting of what I did, because
Sure.
I miscounted the last time.
Okay.
SPAs cost 5 times their cost and not 4 times their cost, which is what I did originally. So I fucked myself over. Sniper SPA purchased. Intelligence up by 1 purchased. Going from 0 to 2 tactics purchased, and then raising my negotiations to 3 as well. This leaves me with 2 spare XP, which I thought about actually going back and buying that heavy infantry vehicle, but I don't think I will.
Okay.
I think I'm going to look at my C-bill accounts quietly in character and have open or a magazine about various mechs, and I'm looking at a longbow and gently.
I like how Jasper has like twice as many mechs as everyone else, like just collecting them.
He wants to be
I
able
want
to
a
pilot
lance.
a mech lance by himself.
Oh, so I do, but no, I'm sorry. That was like a kind of a joke even yet. But I do have a scene I want to do, if you don't mind. And I'm sorry. So there's a lot of attention on me right now. So if you want to go
true.
somewhere else, that's fine.
I'm curious
I
as
just
to
wanna-
why
I
you
wanna
would
meet with
pick a
the-
longbow over an archer or a catapult.
I think the extra LRM5s are good. But you're right. I hear you. I mean, an archer's. Look, you're never going to hear me say an archer is a bad mech. Ever. I would love to field an archer and like 2 LRM carriers, and then something like, I don't know, like a Warhammer or something that can just sit in front of
Wow.
them and just be
Listen
like a
to
goalie.
this guy. He's like, I'm gonna use the Warhammer to scout, and then
No,
me
the
and my
Warhammer's-
boys are just gonna blow people up.
Yeah, the Warhammer is just the goalkeeper that no one's allowed to get close to the archers and, and the LRM carriers.
I
He
see
just-
you've been participating in a time of total warfare with its invincible Warhammer.
Yeah. Okay, so
That
real quick.
Warhammer's never going to die.
Yeah, it's a Warhammers are great mechs too, but I do want to talk to the Herzogs.
Okay, all right.
I want them to know. In fact, this is actually before I tell House Davies.
All right.
That's how important this is.
Set the scene. Where is it and who's there?
I probably would talk to Arkady because he's the head,
Yeah, Arcadi.
and this is like Arkady, sorry, and Arkady and myself will be like, I don't know. I'm in his place, right? I'm his guest. I've requested a meeting. This is supposed to be kind of an informal thing. Maybe we are. I like conversations over food, right?
So I feel like
Maybe
this is a
just over
very
some triple F
different.
burgers.
It's almost always been him going
doesn't eat
to
burger.
you.
Yeah.
In
I
this
know.
case, when you go to him, it's like a communal living area for like the hundreds of workers. They basically have set up a small village adjacent to your area, and they have like communal meals cooked on huge pots for like 20 people at a time, and they got like 5 chefs going at any
It's
one
fucking
time.
awesome food too.
Yeah, it's like being at a rent fair every single day.
Well, the first thing I would say is that I know you don't want me to do anything about housing. I understand that, but
People, this is what we are used to having when we are back and in our homelands. This is perfectly workable for us. I want nothing more.
well, maybe you don't want anything more. What about your children?
My children. I have many children. All of those that are here are my children. We have good jobs. We have citizenship. People are starting to respect us. Some of our people go work on space station. This is a great position for us. My strongest, best workers with big muscles get to go with you and look very famous and very smart.
Sure, but I guess I was talking explicitly about Yusuf.
Yusuf, what can I say about him? He's an upstart. Yusuf.
He doesn't like him, right?
Yeah, so what he says is, Yusuf is very good with his hands. He does not always remember the traditions of our people. He thinks that he is a shining warrior of justice. He forgets that he comes from the dirt that he works with.
Well, and I quietly mumbled to myself, and Arkady can hear me or not. I say, well, it's a good thing I made this choice then. Listen.
What did you say? I didn't quite hear that.
Nothing. It's just that I wanted you to know that I recently, due to Kuro's passing and all of the SLDF things going on, Hans Davian bequeathed us some extra land, enough to get another house going.
Oh, that's great for you.
Yeah, and I wanted you to know that I considered giving it to you.
Please, no, I don't deserve that. No. Who did you give it to?
You have been shining examples of taking the Davian principles of hard work and democracy and picking yourselves up, that if you were noble, I would have given it to you without a second thought. But you are from the earth, and well, I'm sorry. This probably sounds bad to you, but whatever. Listen, I wanted to do something for you, though. I wanted to give you something that can give you the chance of glory. And I swear to you and to your family, I want to work with you, and I want to give you your own mercenary company. I want to give you the mechs. I want to give you the funding, and I want you to customize it, and I want you to pick the leader of it. I want you all to be able to fight on a battlefield and earn glory, because if there's one place where men can be as equal as possible, it's on the battlefield.
You want to give us mechs? Battlemechs?
Correct.
And you want us to fight for you for money?
No, yes, but also I want you to fight for yourselves. I want you to be all you can be.
Okay, U.S. Army, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a fucking Federated Sons word, buzz lingo thing. But yeah, in general, like the idea is that I'm like fucking negging him, being like, you're never gonna be a noble, but what you can be is a glorious warrior. And okay. And that's kind of what I'm doing here, right?
So he looks really troubled over this. Yeah. And he kind of looks around at everybody.
Yeah, because this isn't their focus at all.
Yeah.
But I think I'm giving them the greatest gift I can. But like, I'm not going to give them land, right? That I'm going to give you the chance to be a powerful warrior. And like, that's not what they want, but it's not like I know that, right?
So he puts his hand on his short sword as he stands up and says, "Come with me. We have something to discuss."
Oh, sure.
And then we cut over to Eddie. What do you got going on?
Oh, man.
Onko.
Yeah. So, there's one thing that's been on Onko's mind pretty much ever since she was put into this position, and that is to reconnect with those that maybe she hasn't had the deeper connections with. And so she's going to send out a package to, and in that package there's also a video call to Sir Jacobson.
We're talking about Maximilian Jacobson.
Maximilian Jacobson.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So this package arrives with a messenger, very formal, very very gracious, and it's a white and orange package with like flower petals strewn across it, with a peony like kind of splayed out on top. Like it's a very regal, like ornamental piece. And so if that package is opened, inside they would find a kimono of white and orange with whatever favorite flower or like kind of elements that maybe that Jacobson would appreciate. And that kimono comes with a video invite. And when played, that invite would be, Sir Maximilian Jacobson, I wish to invite you for a ceremony of new beginnings. Please accept this gift as the start of our journey together. As you have been with my brother, I too wish to maintain and blossom a relationship. And it ends with kind of like a set of instructions of like how to conduct a formal tea ceremony appropriately. As it's like, you know, you must do this, must do that, all that kind of thing, and kind of gives him at least the laydown of what it entails.
All right. I think you get a message back a few hours later.
Okay.
From his secretary indicating that Sir Jacobson doesn't have time for your formal ceremony. But if you'd like to meet with him informally, without all of the hubbub, he will meet with the new Baroness.
Okay.
It's actually like, you get the idea that the secretary is more pissed than he is. Like, she's very scathing about reporting on this, that you would dare, some new upstart noble would dare make demands on his time.
Like, is that something that I read into it?
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's almost at the surface level. She almost says it, but certainly there is a lot of very, I don't know if catty would be the word for it, but like freezing burn to her delivery of the message.
Okay. Well, that's totally fine. She accepts this invitation of meeting. However, she insists that it still be some level of formality.
Okay.
And so what she does is she offers, please wear this gift in our meeting as a sign of a new beginning. And what she does, and I'm going to actually post in chat so you all can see what Anko is going to be wearing. What she wears is a mirroring orange and white with maple flower or maple leaves, peonies, I can't think of the word, chrysanthemums.
Chrysanthemums.
Thank you. That's what I was like, throwing me off for some reason. Chrysanthemums. And all of this is symbology for prosperity, longevity, and wisdom, and all these things that she wishes upon this new beginning. And she arrives, and it's something out of out of the scenes of like Memoirs of a Geisha, where as she enters, she's not looking directly at Jacobson. But she, like, very subtly will raise her eyes and then fix on him. And she bows as she greets him. Sir Maximilian Jacobson, thank you for taking this meeting.
So he rises from his chair and gives you a bow and says, Baroness Supaku, this formality is not what I would have expected on this side of the border.
Yes, it is something that my family cherishes deeply. I specifically think there is a beauty and elegance to it. In the ceremony, I wish to also bring a tranquility to our meeting, but I understand your time is precious.
You seem to be making an attempt to establish a rapport between us that doesn't exist. I would hope that you could quickly get to the point. I work personally with Kurosapaku,
Yes.
the late Baron, of course, but we were not that close in my recollection, and you seem to be angling for a sort of bond that I'm not ready to admit to yet. So if you could tell me what this business is, I think it would be better for both our time. He says that, but he also very formally sips at the tea that has been placed before him.
Of course, I wish to respect your time, and my business is to understand and prepare for the things to come. As you know, unfortunately, the Supaku family has had many setbacks with the loss of Kuro and other family members. You have been there in some capacity, as you say, providing resources and as well as opportunity. And this meeting was intended to celebrate those as well as understand where we could go in the future. As you know, there is a war that has created turmoil within our many stars. And you had the wisdom and foresight to prepare for such things. Interestingly enough, Kuro was also working on something, understanding the movements of the subtleties. And as such, I believe that there is something more that we can provide each other.
He sips at his tea. He's getting a little annoyed at how you're talking around the point.
Well, we in the Supaku family value bonds. And I wish to extend my friendship towards you in an effort to support your movements as well as understand more about the universe. You have your fingers everywhere. You understand the movements of shipments and...
All right, so he puts his tea down and just basically gives you a look that this conversation is over. Do you know how I maintain a commercial empire that runs through 3 nations? It is by acting neutrally with respect to all parties. This conversation is veering dangerously towards betraying the Draconis Combine.
I see.
If you have anything further to say in this regard, this conversation is over. Is there anything else we have to discuss?
I simply wish to understand. And I have no ill will against the Draconis Combine myself.
You don't?
No.
The Draconis Combine would disagree.
Yes, our family's past is intertwined.
I believe there is a death warrant out on your house.
Yes, not at
A closer, more formal relationship with you is bad for me, and it's bad for business. Sharing shipping data and mercantile resources with you is bad for everyone's business.
I see where you're coming from. So what you're saying is to improve our relationship, I must first improve the relationship with Draconis Combine and the family that splintered from us.
Yes.
Very well. That helps me. So thank you.
He seems surprised. That says, very well.
I appreciate your time. And again, I respect what you've done. And again, thank you for what you provided to my brother. He respected you greatly.
He takes the last sip of tea and says, I'm sorry this conversation did not go how you planned.
Not at all.
Okay. He gets up and leaves, but very specifically, before he leaves the area, he changes out of that kimono so he doesn't leave in the same clothes he arrived in.
I feel like there was like a moment where she hinted at please keep the kimono as a gift.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you straight out that the fact that you all had inverse matching kimonos is the reason why he's leaving it here. He wants there to be no question that the two of you have no further relationship.
I see. Okay. Well, she'll take it and save it for another day.
This is a man who doesn't want to be assassinated before talking to you.
Yes. Okay. That's it for me for now.
Okay. Jasper, you're taken inside Arkady's personal house.
Okay.
And he sits you down in a chair across from him and lays his short sword across the table with the hilt towards you. And he says, I am greatly honored by this offer, and I am afraid that while my people are worthy of it, I am not Baron Jasper Hiroka.
Of course.
No, there are things that I have done in your name that you should know about.
What are you talking about?
Over the past 2 years, our agromech business, you've been losing more machines than normal.
Right.
Yes?
That's because of the Triforce power
Yeah.
marshals.
No, this is not what is happening. I have been selling machines on the black market under the table.
You told me.
And I've been selling them to Sebastian Bassett, who's been armoring them and adding machine guns. He is building up
fucking awesome.
a private militia, and you are subsidizing it. I take full responsibility for this. My personal finances may cover some of the cost, and my life is yours, he says. So he's got the sword with the hilt pointed towards you, and he removes the sheath, so now a blade is pointed towards him.
Right.
My people are better than I am. I am an old dog whose ways never change. They are strong, proud warriors.
All right, this is actually really important. Okay. So who is he sold them to who?
Bassett, Sebastian Bassett.
He sold them to Sebastian Bassett, who was then sold them to someone else?
No, Sebastian has been building a large military force on planet, which, yeah, you can see Eddie's nodding, because we've heard about this before, that his military force has exploded in size recently. and then he had a number of agromechs in it. So your rundown agromechs are finding their way into his forces while you buy fresh new ones so that you can keep the farm working.
And this is illegal.
Yes, very illegal. Not on his part, not on Bass's part, but on Arkadi's. If the story is exactly what Arkadi says, Bassett didn't know what was going on. Arkadi is the one behind all of this. He takes the full blame. If you believe Arkadi. A man who just admitted he lied to you.
That yeah. Arkadi, I am extremely disappointed. I am crestfallen. I will demand that you come with me to my estate. Without saying it, he's going to be under house arrest until we figure out what's going on. Basically, I'm imprisoning him until we figure out what's going on.
He kind of he's
so all
a
due
little
respect,
insistent.
there will be an investigation. But regardless of the outcome of the investigation, I will be the one to serve justice.
I must say, my lord, investigate all you want, but I insist that I be the one that pay for this crime. My people are not to blame. Any actions they took were at my orders without explanation. If you push this too far, you may shame my people.
Is it something... I just don't understand why you would do it. Is it something that I did? I gave you everything. Gave you a place to live, gave you education, got you citizenship, and this is how I'm repaid.
Have you heard the story of the scorpion and the frog?
Yes. Scorpion must sting.
I am the scorpion. Ironically, your house sigil is a scorpion. I know.
I know.
That's how I knew you knew this story.
Yeah. Well, I want you to know that my house is also a scorpion. And my ways are the rule of law, and I must sting. Come with me.
All right. He agrees to go with you. I guess you both leave an unsheathed sword on his kitchen table.
No, I would keep his sword.
Okay.
I would sheath the sword.
All right.
And carry it with me, basically disarming him. But yeah, no, Akardi's going to be my prisoner, basically, until this is done, right? So he's going to be guarded, under protection. And I'm going to make. I'm not hiding this. Well, I'm probably going to put Ash on it.
So I want to remind you that Ash works for the Aki Herzog crime syndicate, who Arkadi is the head of.
Well, fuck. Well,
your farm workers are all Aki Herzogs. Like, the thing you're talking about doing, keeping him under house arrest, is not technically legal to do to a citizen of the Federated Suns. So
what do you do with someone who's suspected of a crime?
You turn them over to the actual police.
Planetary security. Then I would have to do that then. Of course.
All right. I'm sorry. If you want to illegally detain him in your house, that's very different. No.
Okay. I didn't know what I was doing was illegal.
Okay. Yes. Okay. If you want to just turn him over to the police, yes.
Yeah, I would absolutely turn him over to the police.
All right. So
I thought I had to do the investigations for this stuff.
No. And it's even better because now the Baroness comes to pick him up herself. Audrey Lafayette shows up in person, not in her aerospace outfit or in any baronial clothes, but in a public security outfit. She's wearing dark sunglasses and takes them off and goes, well, Arkadiaki Herzog, you son of a bitch, I finally got you. You and your whole crime enterprise are going down. Book 'em, Officer Wallace. They stuff him in the back of a paddy wagon.
Take him away, toys.
Yeah.
Oh man, this dovetails so nicely into. I was after this was gonna try to do investigation on Bassett again.
I am so hurt that they would betray me like this. I am so hurt.
So my question is, do you do any personal house investigation into Arkady Aki-Herzog's crime family, or do you just accept that he was personally behind all of it? And he kept everyone
no,
in the
I'm going
dark?
to take him for his word, even
Okay.
though he said he lied to me.
Yes.
Only because that's kind of what I do. But the other part of it, though, is that I would ask Lafayette, is this a crime that's like punishable by death? Or no?
No, I mean it's a very serious,
Okay.
like it's probably
Yeah.
going to be life
It's-
because the amount of money
Yeah.
involved is like way beyond felonious.
Right.
But it's
Okay.
not a crime
Well,
punishable. It's not capital crime.
If there was a criminal in his culture, right, in the Herzog culture, is this something that would be considerable by death? Like,
Yeah.
would it be
Oh, yeah.
preferable to die?
Yeah.
Then I would probably argue that if he requests death, that you should allow it, and then I
Literally
would be the one who
requested death
commits.
from you at the table.
Well, I would have to do it, but we have to follow the. Well, no, we're doing it by the
You're
books.
doing it by
and
the
that-
law, then no, there is no like just kill me law.
Yeah, then yeah. So like he's like, well, this is perfect. And he's like, well, I lied to you, and I can't help it. It's in my nature. Then it's like, well, motherfucker, it's in my nature that you get fucking arrested, And then that's what I do is that I'm going to arrest him and be like, I won't even do that to you. However, then after the fact, I would argue to Lafayette saying that, there is a custom in his culture that should this happen, that preferable to life in prison, that he would be killed. And I would, I would like to argue that he deserves that, and that I would be the one who carries the sentence.
Yeah, like she's
probably not gonna happen, but
She
I'm
with
gonna
some bubble
advocate
gum,
for
and
it.
she's just like, that's not how crime works here. We don't work
Look.
on the rules of dirty criminal conspiracies. We don't just kill. He's gonna serve his punishment so that people know you can't just do this in the Federated Sons and get away with it. And we're certainly not going to do it Karetan style.
Understood. Well, I had to ask.
Yeah, I get you.
And there's a sort of like that pause, like, are we good here? Like me and you?
Yeah, she nods. She
like,
nods and says, "You did the
doesn't
right
have to say
thing,
anything.
Jasper.
Okay.
You did the right thing.
Cool. That's
Turning
it.
over this piece of scumbag. I'm gonna make him sing like a canary. I've got all the pins lined up, and it's time to hit a strike."
To think I wanted to give them a fucking mercenary company. Now I'm gonna kick them out. Jerks. I gave them everything.
We'll come to the consequences of that in a minute. I want to hop back to Lachlan. I think you said you were going to do an investigation on Bassett and his assets.
I can't remember. So I know that I got something from Kuro and wanted to make another roll about it at some point, and I don't remember if we did that last week.
I don't think we did.
Okay. Then yeah, that's
So
what I
what
would
exactly
like to
are
do.
you investigating?
So if you remember correctly, I was looking for where all of his money was coming from so that I could like try to do something economically to fuck him over. Like either like stop the money flow or like basically like inadvertently shine a light on some illicit activity that could
Correct.
do the same thing.
And you got kind of blocked there to some extent. We already know that he gets a lot of his military assets by arresting criminals and then picking up their assets for cheap on a police auction that is run privately, and he's the only person invited.
But yeah, basically, if I remember correctly, you mentioned that like when we got back from space, I could basically like try again.
So do you have a new angle that you're going for this time, or are you just going to run up against the same thing?
I mean, he's definitely focusing. I guess the way I'm imagining the new angle would be like now he has that info from Kuro, right?
Okay.
So he's like trying to basically put together anything he had from Kuro to like any like things that he was running into like dead ends on leads or whatever, and see if any of the dead ends kind of get cleared up.
Okay. Let's call it a 15 investigation.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that's big.
Breaking this
Wait,
criminal.
if I remember correctly, I didn't use investigation last time because I don't have that.
I think you might have done knowledge politics.
Oh, yeah. Is that still appropriate? I definitely still want to be taking like the more like political angle to it because that's really what Lachlan cares about.
Okay, you'll get different information, but yes, it'll still be a 15.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, can you like substitute leadership if you hire someone to do something for you?
Not in this case.
Okay.
They'll just make the roll.
And okay, I'm guessing, yeah.
I suppose it'd be very different if you hired an entire team of investigators and you personally directed them.
Right. Okay.
There's no bonus or anything for getting help from Kuro, is there?
I'll give you a -1. I'll bring it down to a 14 from Kuro's cold, dead grasp on the subject.
Just a -1.
Excellent. All right. Do I want to spend some XP about my politics? No, it's fine. All right.
Okay.
Rolling with a +5.
And if you fail, I'll still give you information, but it'll either be partially wrong or just outright lies. That's a failure.
That's a 5 + 4 is a 9. I don't think there's any. I would have to hit a 6 on the 1 in order for this to. I guess I'll reroll it. Why not? Let's spend the edge. I'm rerolling both of them.
Seems like that was a wise move.
Oh, that was a wild ride.
Yeah. All right. So that is a 16.
Okay, so in terms of politics, what you're getting is that a lot of the businesses that used to donate to you and him are slowly moving away to only donate to him or disappearing from existence entirely. And that there's also a trail of politicians and wealthy business people, like not Maximilian Jacobson level, but like wealthy people on the planet who are dropping out of politics forever or being arrested for sort of like sexual crimes or like having lawsuits with their secretaries, that sort of thing. There's this huge swath that's been not really reported on that you're starting to pick up, that like in Bassett's wake, he's leaving a kind of destruction of the middle level of politics that's creating this huge hole. And there's a lot of money somehow flowing towards him as a result of this.
But he's not quite able to put together
the key tie is that a lot of these businessmen either have or are, and I'm only giving you this because you have a 16, which is 2 beyond what you need. They either have or previously had a relationship with the talent company, Talent 7. That is the only thing linking all of them. Yes, you are familiar with them.
What's Talent 7?
So
I don't know. Did they come up already?
Yes, they have come up. They're on the wiki if you want to check for more.
Let me just double check.
So they're like an idol group. There are 7 of them currently. They are like extremely talented young women across the spectrum of age ranges. And you've seen them in the accompaniment of Maximilian Jacobson before. You've seen them in the company of the rich and famous before. They've kind of peaked up a couple of times. I think one of you guys was chasing. I think Jasper was chasing after them for a moment, trying to make a business relationship with them, but that cooled off.
Got it. So I guess my next move is probably try to have a meeting with Dame Sumire Shoshone.
We'll come back to that in a minute. Onko, we've got a lot going on. What's number 2?
Okay, well.
Are you still doing the schedule of planetary invasion? Because if so, that's going to remove all of your other things. It's going to take up the remainder of your time, and you probably still won't get it done by yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking that this was kind of tying in with what McDougal was already doing.
Okay.
Trying to pull together nobles.
He specifically said he did not have the resources to physically plan out the...
Yeah,
that's one thing to have money available, but you still need to get permission to do it. You need to leave I mean, you don't have to do what Angelique Latour said, but she won't agree to it unless you leave behind enough defense forces to defend the planet, and also take enough to accomplish the raid. You need to get a jump ship, which is not that easy in this day of age. You got to have enough drop ships to carry all your forces. You don't know where Janna's being held and what the enemy forces look like.
That's all fair. So I think...
So is there any part of that brisket you want to pull apart first?
Yeah, I think Onko would like to reconnect with Major Garcia to gain some
I'm just going to tell you very quickly. Onko is not Kuro, and if you try to get military intelligence from her, the meeting will end faster than your meeting with Maximilian Jacobson. You're not military, and you don't work for her. Okay. All right.
No. So okay, then let me think about this because
All right.
I get what you're saying, and that makes sense. I think ultimately what like Anko's goal here is to bring together the information that she needs, right, to conduct this. Maybe she would go to Genji.
Okay.
That's a solid idea.
Yeah, I think she wants to create that bridge, and I think Anko actually might get better on with Genji than Kuro did for sure.
So Genji agrees to meet you at his dojo.
Okay.
And unlike Mr. No Tea Ceremony, he goes for the full formality.
Yeah.
But all of his kimonos have a House Davian sword and sunburst of the Federated Suns, and he openly wears a cross, which is not exactly standard kimono material.
No, that's fair. I mean, everyone's open to that stuff. And this is like modern tea ceremony anyway, so it's not necessarily scoffing at the tradition. Although you're not supposed to wear jewelry during tea ceremonies.
But he is New Avalon Catholic, and that is the top priority in his life.
Fair.
So he nods at you from across the table while sipping on some sort of black tea and says, Baroness Supaku, Anko, this is our first time meeting, but
Yes,
I found my disagreements with Kuro Supaku to be rather pleasant. Unlike others of his age group, he was not easily pushed by emotional decisions. I would hope that you are the same.
our family is taught to think above our emotions. So I wish to follow in my brother's footsteps, as it were. And I think she does kind of like the formal turn, 2 turns of the teacup as she takes a sip, and then bows, like in respect to thanking him for the fine tea that he's made. I wish to discuss a particular matter that is unfinished to move things forward, as there is much to do in little time. You once asked Kuro and his lance to aid you in a raid.
Yes.
I wish to request the same of you, in Kuro's name, to rescue Jana.
My raid against Valentina required years of preparation. Hiring local mercenaries, encouraging dissidents, arranging for 2 jump ships, one to bring us in and one to leave, coinciding the timing with an interstellar expeditions in order to cause maximum chaos, and hiring mercenary forces to go with us. If you have put the same level of commitment into this raid, I will be your sword. My dragon and select forces from my pack Charlemagne will be at your command.
And
Then
this
he
is
sips,
why,
but he looks like there's no way you've done all this.
right. He looks in but it's like that respectful Japanese way of like kind of politely nodding and of course. And this is exactly why I come to you, to understand the forethought that you go through for your raid, to understand what must be done. Some of these things I do have. However, I do not expect that I will be ready within a short time, but I thank you for offering your sword when things are ready. I wish to continue our dialogue.
So you are not prepared.
Not fully. As you know, I only recently became head of house. And Jana's situation has only just become known to us.
I do not have many contacts on the other crews, but I will reach out to those that I have and see what I can learn.
She bows very, very respectfully. Thank you. That is a good start to what we must do.
Stay in close contact, Baroness Supaku.
She bows again. Thank you again. This is wonderful tea. And I think like there's kind of like a fade out where they're enjoying a moment of silence and tranquility, kind of finishing up the ceremony. I think Anko would probably have like similar meetings with others that she think would be valuable in getting information, and maybe and this is maybe like something we don't have to do a scene for.
Well, just to be clear, you haven't offered anyone anything yet. You've basically just been going around begging support.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Like I right now, like
you will get what you pay for in that case.
Yeah. Well, no, it's so I mean it's kind of like, again, figuring out what people would do this for, right? Whether or not it's for Whittington itself, whether or not it's for some sort of monetary gain in which she would then look for a way of compensating them, whether or not it's for, like, that's kind of like, she doesn't necessarily know the motivations of everyone. She's feeling out nobility and understanding the protocol of like gathering these resources.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Let's do one more go around if everybody has something left that they want to do before we get to the ball. Jasper?
Okay. No, I think I do actually.
Okay.
I would probably want to talk to. I wouldn't talk to Lachlan about it. That's for sure.
Wow, that friendship is sailed.
But I really want to talk about Kuro's wife, and so I'm wondering if I want to talk to Anko. I probably would talk to Anko about it. I want to know whether or not this fucking mission's going on this year or not, and I just want him to know that if we're doing it, I mean, you got me.
Yeah.
Remind me, but we had a conversation about it last session, didn't we?
We did.
Or was that just Kira? Was that just Anko and Lachlan? I swear Jasper was there.
I think it was something where we were at Sir Reinholdt.
Yeah, because that was when all three of us were there, wasn't it?
Right, and like you would talk to Anko and not directly to Jasper.
Yeah, that's what I remembered that scene. All right,
yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Would you still call a female person head of household like master?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd probably call you and be like, Master Supaku. This is Jasper. Thank you.
I recognize your voice.
Well, I know this year is getting on, and I'm concerned about Jana van Hohenheim, and I believe the last time we spoke about her, our decision wasn't exactly made up. I want you to know that if we wanted to rescue her, I'm not saying we have to, but if you wanted to, I'd bring the Tamari. Which is like saying it would mean a lot to me, and I'm willing to fucking go out on it. Which I don't like. I would not bring the Atlas out to.
Yeah. I think if it's a video call, you would see Anko smile and in kind of like a respectful way. I thank you for your support. Kuro would certainly appreciate the aid in bringing back his widow. In fact, I have been working to organize something. Particularly, I spoke with Lord Genji. And there is much to do in order to successfully pull off some sort of incursion. As he himself denoted that there is much that can go wrong if not properly planned. For now, we are gathering information. You yourself are a member of the military, yes?
Yes.
Perhaps you can.
Well, I'm in the Federated Sons.
Correct.
I'm not part of the Whittington military.
Correct.
So I don't know what you mean when you say military, but I assume whatever the answer. I thought the answer was whatever.
Okay.
But tell me.
Yeah.
I understand the virtue of planning.
And and would it be kind of somewhat known amongst us three that you're kind of studying tactics and maybe trying to like up your game, like kind of denoting the point spends that you've been making? No, that's just kind of
unless you've taken attention to me personally. No, which I don't think you have. So no.
Yeah. As you know, there is much tactical planning, and well, Kuro was certainly the one that did a lot of that in our family.
Indeed.
Especially as an intelligence officer, he had many connections that allowed him resources and information that unfortunately I do not have.
When you say that makes me pause. I would, Master Sabaku, I do not mean to impose, but if you're asking for any advice, I'd be happy to give you what I think about this tactical situation sometime, perhaps in person.
Of course, I would love that greatly.
Good. I was afraid I might overstep or overreach, suggesting that.
Not at all. I'm still learning much about, well, running a household for one, as I'm sure you're familiar.
Yes.
You were thrust upon it yourself. And
I was lucky to have a strong chamberlain from House Davies to assist me through the worst of it. And if there's anything I can do,
actually,
everyone should have someone in their corner.
There is something that maybe you can do as well, in addition to the work towards the rescue mission.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
Well, no.
Pump them, princess. I'm not sure yet. Let's focus on getting Jana first.
Well,
right. All things in time.
Of course. But as you say, you have House Davies. The unfortunate truth is that the Vega clan, or rather the Kane house that supported my family for many generations, has, well, Vega had a relationship that unfortunately has gone missing. And it is something I am, as you say, one thing at a time, but it seems that there is no rest for the weary.
Well,
I will be looking into that to understand what sort of support that I have there as well.
wow.
Either way, it relieves me that I have your support.
Yeah. I'm glad my support can be a balm for you in this troubling time. Look forward to hearing from you some more. We'll talk soon.
And
Otherwise, of course, I'll see you at the Kerensky ball.
Of course. And she bows and like gives you a very respectful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I already turned off the call.
Okay. So the next scene we see is the Reverend Dr. Nkwabe Tosh is holding a protest against the spaceport. Like at the spaceport's one of the main gates. There's like a Catholic counter-protester group showing up, insisting that this is religious persecution, and walking through the gates, like James Giles suddenly zooms the camera in, and he's like, "I'm here on the scene personally," and is that Sebastian Bassett? So like leaving with a group of other dropship travelers coming from off-worlds is a Sebastian Bassett, now bearing a chrome left arm.
A chrome left arm, still wearing a Hawaiian shirt, open, his fucking ripped ass abs on display, aviator glasses with frosted tips for sure, chewing some gum, smiling like fucking
None of that
rock
happened.
star. Okay.
So Bassett
then.
like grabs a microphone from somebody and walks over to the Reverend Doctor, and like everyone starts getting quiet when they're like, what the hell is happening? Like this guy just showed up out of nowhere. People are starting to shout like, oh, I recognize him, and he's like, quiet. I'm Baron Sebastian Bassett, and I have returned to Whittington a stronger man. Now, I understand the administrator of this spaceport has not dealt with the issues of rising crime and the mercenaries. Lachlan McDougal is young and inexperienced. He's made this out to be a religious issue, but I think we all know that's not what this is. Forgive him. He's young. All of us barons need to take responsibility for the legislation we passed, and it's up to experienced leadership with a connection to the people to solve this specific problem. With my time as the head of the Office of Special Investigations, my knowledge of the law, I'm going to be forming a citizens task group with local leaders, my knights and their squires. We will defend the environment around the spaceport with patrols to stop the predations on our citizens. I'll be speaking with Lachlan McDougal later this week personally that he will allow these citizen task groups to patrol into the spaceport so that we can stop incidents before they happen. I'll also be meeting with the mercenary leadership and those that they have brought with them. No one has reached out to these people in a way that has made them want to talk. We've painted the mercenaries as an enemy, but they are our guests, they are our allies, they are our defenders. When, not if, but when the enemy comes, they will be shoulder to shoulder with us. We need to treat them with the respect that they deserve. So I will be sitting down with them in a neutral capacity in order to discuss what's going on here. And you can see that the Reverend Doctor is like nodding along and is like, all right, I'm 100% into this. Finally, someone is taking leadership and responsibility. And almost as if this was all planned, like Sebastian Bassett posters start going up, like people start shouting Sebastian Bassett's name, sort of astroturfed grassroots thing goes on. And that's what you're seeing on the monitor right now, McDougal.
I want to point out, AP, I feel like anything any of us three try to do receives like the most amount of public pushback it possibly can. And then anything that Bassett tries to do, it just immediately goes off without a hitch.
You're correct. That's
Isn't
exactly
being an NPC awesome?
You literally are following one of Bassett's threads of criminal activity that has just exploded right in Arcadi's face. After Eric reached out and I was like, all right, I'm going to reward you by giving you part of the puzzle. And now listen, Bassett is succeeding because he's slimy and is willing to do anything to win.
No, I'm just giving
and he
you a
has
hard
nearly
time.
unlimited funds to do it with.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
We'll give Bassett a hard time instead.
I'm trying. That's what I've been doing.
That's what Kuro did.
No, I mean,
Yeah, you might remember that Bassett lost a fucking arm and disappeared from the planet for like 10 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, the next thing Lachlan would want to do is go talk to Sumire Shoshone.
Okay, all right.
Because as far as he's concerned, also, is that a reused name? I feel
It
like
is. It's from Burning Crowns.
Okay, that was the hunter lady that you
Yes.
hired, right? Okay. Yeah. I was like, this is so familiar to me.
Did you check the list of
good
mercenaries? Because Steve Gary made that list as well.
I knew that, but Steve Gary shows up everywhere and in everything. So, yeah, no, I guess I'm trying to think if he would do something different, but I think that would probably still be the move.
All right, so let me tell you what happens. You arrive at the Talent 7 offices, and waiting for you out front smoking a cigarette is Sebastian Bassett. And he goes, oh, my guy, Lachlan McDougal, who thought I'd run into you here? He offers you a cigarette.
Lachlan will take the cigarette.
Hey, look, I wanted to talk to you. I know things have been rough between us. We got the Kerensky ball in next week. About this citizens task force, I was just hoping you'd let some of my knights move their Battlemechs around your around your compound, around the spaceport. You know, they know how to be unobtrusive. They blend in with the background. We're just looking to find thugs beating up average citizens in the streets. You know, we're not here to interrupt your operations. I'm trying to solve this problem that's happened for you in a way that will make everyone happy.
Lachlan is just like standing there smoking this cigarette
Because
as
we're
he's, like,
allies.
listening to this.
Aren't we?
You tell me, Sebastian. He's just standing there smoking the cigarette.
Yeah, so he takes a hit off of his cigarette and he says, well, I thought we were allies. You know, I've got my nephew lined up to, you know, get married to your Celeste, right?
That's the plan?
Yeah. We've worked together pretty well. It's made you rich. It's made me rich. Sure, you've taken some shots at me, and I've had to take some new directions. But, you know, ever since my arm got blown off, I've really given some serious thought as to who my friends are and who my enemies are. And he puts his metallic arm on your shoulder, and he says, I know right where you stand, Lachlan McDougal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's entirely full of shit. Do I need to make a roll to confirm that? Lachlan's objectively difficult to lie to because he has high perception.
So let me put it this way. It sounds as if Lachlan has already made a determination, but if you'd like to roll to see whether that determination is true or not.
Yeah, I mean, Sam has made a determination,
Okay.
but I think it's fair to say that
roll,
Lachlan
then.
has the ability to you know, get more objective answers than Sam does by rolling. Yeah, I have
do
a
you
plus
have
5
any-
to perception.
Okay, do you have any like traits or anything that will help you with this?
No.
Plus
no,
5
no.
is pretty good. Then let's make this a 12.
That's a 7 plus 5 is going to do it because that's exactly a 12.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, his joviality towards you is feigned.
Yeah, it's obvious that what he's trying to say is that he knows who his friends and enemies are, and I'm one of his enemies.
Yes, that is
Okay.
that is exactly what he's saying, but he thinks he's so clever in hiding it in that kind of language. And he doesn't know that you know.
Yeah, so what Lachlan will say is, Sebastian, I'm so glad that we're on the same page. I understand that they think that I've taken shots at you, but I need you to know that I'm really just trying to do what's best for Whittington and everyone on it. And I'm glad that you're on board to help me with that in this trying time. I so badly need your aid.
So you're open to the Citizens Task Group.
I'm interested in hearing more. I'd like to know what kind of association Audrey Lafayette is going to have as the most experienced law officer on the planet.
Well, I'd say that if she was going to do anything useful, she would have done it already. And yet the problem has persisted for months.
We can keep going back and forth. Right now, my focus is on a united Whittington, Sebastian. We're now at war. The time for petty squabbling has come and gone.
I agree.
So,
We need to get behind experienced leadership.
and you believe your year in a task force that ended up concluding that they could not accomplish their task is sufficient leadership to take over law enforcement responsibility from Audrey Lafayette?
I think that experienced leadership like myself and Yohei Genji and of course Audrey, all proven older leaders, will be more than capable of helping choose the path Whittington will take into the future.
I see.
Surely, even if you might have some petty problems with me that you of course said that you would put aside in the name of Greater Whittington, you could have no problems with Genji and Lafayette.
I have no petty disagreement with any of you. As I've said, what I seek is the best for all of Whittington, and a mixture of experience and innovation is what it's going to take to move this planet into the future.
I think he smiles.
I think I've demonstrated that so far.
Yeah, he smiles because you've managed to turn it around and get yourself back into the picture. And he says, very well. I'll tell you what. Let's talk more about this spaceport thing after the ball.
Sounds like a plan. One more thing, Sebastian. I did hear you were trying to take a page from my book and get everyone together at the ball. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help facilitate that. I have an interest in doing so as well.
Please, I want you to be there at this ball. It would mean so much to me.
Is he hosting?
He is not. Angelique Latour is hosting.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to not be there.
Interesting. Yeah.
Lachlan will be like, of course. I'll be at the ball. I hope that I can count on you to, when I move to reaffirm our spending package, we do need to continue with the defense spending if we are going to survive what's to come.
I wasn't always on board with it, but the events of the last year have shown me that you were right. We do need more military equipment on Whittington to defend ourselves from enemies within and without.
But of course. Anything else I can help you with, Sebastian? I am here for a meeting.
Yes, of course. Well, I wouldn't think that you just drop by here randomly. No. I'll head out. You have fun. What a great bunch of girls.
Will do. I'm hoping, maybe some kind of event. The kids are just getting old enough. They're crazy about this idol thing. I don't really know anything about it. But anyway.
So I want to describe what you see when you go into the office. They are in the lobby, like showcasing the latest music video that they're shooting. And it features Sebastian Bassett and all of his knights showing up shirtless in swim trunks as part of the music video, as like sexy man meat for the background. And it's really selling them all. Like, Bassett without his shirt, even though he has the horrible bombing scar, he got fucking ripped during physical therapy and getting that chrome arm put on.
Called it.
Awesome.
Knew it. You're trying to say none of that was true, and then look at you using parts of what I said as true.
No, he traveled to New Avalon to get the
Amazing
mech arm surgery, so that that arm can be connected to a Battlemech to pilot it directly.
Excellent.
I knew it.
Yeah, I guess like Lachlan.
Trust me, you've made him weaker. He's taken a permanent hit to his stats.
Yeah.
But he's not down.
I think it's one of these moments where like it's obvious that Lachlan doesn't want to look at any of these fucking advertisements, but there's nowhere to look in the room that isn't covered in them.
So like somebody comes in and like hits a button and turns all those off. And it's Dame Sumire Shoshone. She shows up with a very I forget what they're called. It's like a cigarette holder, like a super long one. And she gestures
1920s.
for you to, she gestures for you to follow her, and that's her whole aesthetic is like a 1920s matronly, all black and maybe like a imperial dark green, and with what is very obviously smoker's voice from 30 or more years of smoking. She says, "So, you're Baron Lachlan McDougal. Very pleased to make your acquaintance, Baron. I'm a knight as well." Knighted for my work in what's called humanitarian arts here. What can Talent 7 do for you?
That's an excellent question. I've been remiss in not coming by sooner. It seems that you have quite an operation going on here, and as you know, I am in the middle of a public relations push myself.
Well, I have heard that that little girl you look after, very excited to one day grow up to be a member of Talent 7. I, for one, would be honored to teach the Countess about our trade one day.
Well, we'll have to see about that. I'm not sure that Well, I'm not sure that Sir Reinhold would be particularly fond of that. He's got her.
No, his blood pressure does seem to be very high these days. You'd be surprised what you can learn in public entertainment.
That's actually the second reason I'm here. I've been in the middle of a bit of a project, all in my greater purpose to make sure that we put Whittington on the map in the long term. And I've surprisingly come to much the same conclusion that you just shared with me, that you here at Talent 7 have some information that might surprise folks.
It's true. You know, we are the only Whittington-based entertainment group that has any connection to the rest of the Inner Sphere. Sure, most of our girls are more popular here than elsewhere, but our fortune teller surprisingly popular in the local area, even across the Draconis Combine border. I know people. Is there people that you want to know that I can help you with, Baron?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the angle that Lachlan would take here, because he's like, he knows that she's not just gonna like out Bassett's secrets.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because like Lachlan's better at this than I am personally.
If you want to take a minute, we can jump back over to Anko while you think about this.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Anko, do you have a third thing you want to do before the Kerensky ball?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. Well, there's two things that I'm kind of debating on, because with everything that's been going on, I think that I do want to understand what happened to the Kane family. But then also, good. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to look into. And what I would like to do is, I imagine that the Supaku family has people that do, like, assist with investigations. So what she wants to do is form somewhat of a task force to kind of look into it and try to understand it. What happened, how it happened, that sort of thing.
Okay. Make a investigation check. You're doing this personally.
Well, I guess I was trying to frame it as me forming a task force and leading them towards something.
Okay.
If that's possible.
I mean, how big of a task force are we talking? How badly do you want this? Ooh. How much is it going to disrupt your other ongoing operations?
Yeah, because she's busy personally, so that's one reason why I wanted to form a task force.
Sure.
I think ultimately this is family. This is part of like heritage, so she'd want to allocate a decent amount of effort into this. Obviously, she's kind of splitting it between the rescue mission and this. Those are her two top priorities right now. If that makes sense.
Okay. So you're putting a huge amount of resources towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Your other task will suffer as a result.
What other task?
Well, like your business, right? I mean, you're currently taking over a business that is now split. You have forces scattered across a third-party realm. You personally have taken more trainers out of, your local business.
Wait, what?
You took some of the trainers from the local Whittington area and you sent them
to
afar.
periphery. Right.
So now you don't have as much time to run those afar people, which you have to do through Jacobson anyway, since all communication has to go through jump ship transit instead of hyperpulse generators.
Which this more complicates for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you try getting a jump ship anywhere. You have to be super rich. You have to be Sebastian Bassett level rich.
Okay, so let's to not have
You have to commit somewhere, and you're committing to this investigation.
Well, what I like to just clarify, like the stakes on is, if I could do like the power of 3, right, where I can split between organizing the local business.
You're doing a lot.
Yes.
You're going around to barons and intelligence and trying to like get like there's only so much time and effort that everyone has to commit to this 3-month period. So
Okay.
something breaks in the process if you want to run a large team looking for Vega Kane, girlfriend and child.
Okay.
So
I think yeah, it would then be the focus of the rescue mission and the investigation.
okay, make a leadership roll. The difficulty is 10.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're committing a large group of investigators and a huge portion of your house towards this.
Yeah, 10 you should be able to smash.
Yeah, that's 13.
Okay. You discover that the girlfriend had received numerous like job offers privately to work for several members of Sebastian Bassett's knighthood retinue. She began turning them down, and one day in the middle of the night, the investigators find no one noticed it, but somebody basically like blackbagged her. They showed up at her house. They like stuffed her in the back of a van. They removed all the security footage of it happening, and they made it seem like she moved out of her own free will. This takes several weeks to get a hold of, but when your chief investigator comes back, he's like, a serious crime has been committed. This woman has been kidnapped.
And is there evidence to prove this?
There is evidence to prove that it happened, not who did it and where she is.
Okay. Is there at least a lead?
Now, let's be clear. The evidence is that kind of dramatic evidence you would get in a TV court case, but probably wouldn't hold up against a real jury, right? It's like, we put this, this, and this together, and you're just like, well, it's highly technical, you know?
Okay. So yeah, the slime ball does slimy things. Like that's kind of what I expected. As a player, anyway. Anko is probably Bassett again.
This is the first time Bassett's ever done anything to her.
Yeah, well, no, but she also has.
And let's
No,
be
that's not
clear, we
true.
don't know that Bassett is personally behind this particular incident.
No, you said though. That was part of it.
No, I said that several members of Bassett's Knights have extended her job offers. I did not say Sebastian Bassett is personally behind any part of this.
The kidnapping, got it.
Correct.
Okay.
You just know that he was very interested. His men were very interested in getting in contact with her.
Right. Disrupting things in my house, basically, through back channels.
That might sound like
Speculation.
That could sound like his MO. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's his MO. Okay. So is there a lead as to where she is?
No.
Like, there's no lead as to where she is, where the
Not
child
unless
is?
you want to take it to the real police or make it public and start a manhunt for her.
And if I were to do that, that would be contacting Lafayette.
Yeah.
Or okay. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do.
All right.
There's so I think the phone call goes something like, she calls up and says, Lady Lafayette, it has come to my family's attention that one of our own has been kidnapped. The circumstances, however, and where she may be and her child are unknown to us, and I wish to file a formal investigation.
Okay. So, I mean, she has no reason to distrust you. She had a okay relationship with Kuro. You are a baron saying someone got kidnapped, which is pretty serious. She moves it up to a high priority case. I mean, she doesn't personally take the information. She transfers your call to somebody else, but she makes it her job to find this woman for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lachlan,
Yes. So I think what she would do, or what he would do, is ask about probably like ask about kind of stuff that would seem pretty unrelated to Bassett, because he doesn't want her just like immediately running to Sebastian Bassett and being like, hey, why is Lachlan McDougall asking about your shitty endeavors? So he would probably like start asking for like kind of gossipy stuff about the Draconis Combine, specifically Harmony Lake. And basically like what he's kind of trying to do is he's trying to like kind of suss out whether he thinks like how deep this lady is into this kind of like information brokering game. But at the same time, he's kind of trying to play it off like he's kind of just like a gossipy noble. You know what I mean?
I feel like this is a streetwise check.
Ooh, that's not something that I have. Makes sense though. Protocol? No, I'm just kidding.
I would say negotiation, if not streetwise.
Oh, I've got negotiation.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
actually
you do.
pretty
I
good
think
at that.
streetwise will get you closer to where you want to be, but negotiation can also get you there at a higher difficulty.
Cool. Let's try that.
Okay, let's say it's a 13.
Okay. I've got a +5. Well, actually, is streetwise based on charisma?
It is.
What's the difficulty if I do streetwise?
10.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I have a +4 charisma and I only have a +5 negotiation.
Okay.
All right, cool. So streetwise with a +4. Oh yeah, that's a 14.
Your conversation with her branches out. Like, you came here to get some top level stuff, and it goes like way deeper than that. You're here for hours. The kind of topic, like, once you start sniffing each other's butts, it becomes clear that she works with Sebastian Bassett, not for Sebastian Bassett. And she intimates to you that Talent 7, what they normally do. I'll give you what happens. I don't know how to describe it, but this is the final version of what happens. She basically tells you that at events like the Kerensky Ball, people like Maximilian Jacobson will hire her girls to interrogate people. So Jacobson will like hire out the whole of Talent 7, bring them with him to the party, and then allow them to filter through the crowd and like talk to people. And they're, you know, people are just happy to see a good entertainer, beautiful young woman who's interested in their company and will let things slip. Jacobson gets that information, and so does she. And that's basically what they do full time. They're like a passive, soft intelligence agency.
They're kind of like geishas.
It's literally what they're supposed to be like. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're more like
They're not.
K-pop.
Yeah, they're K-pop. Yeah.
They're more
They're not.
K-pop than like kabuki.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
there are a million historical examples you could pull.
Yeah, it's true.
Some
Yeah.
version of this has
Courtesans,
happened.
certainly.
Yes.
Courtesans, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
courtesans,
courtesans. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Cool. And the intimation is that this is like Sebastian is like heavily involved. Like it's their partnership basically.
So Sebastian buys information from her, but so do a lot of people. But Sebastian has been coming to her a lot. He's been gathering information specifically on House Seppaku, which has been very hard since they don't attend parties and aren't social.
Gotcha.
He's also been gathering information on Moritomo Lake and Shinji Moritomo. She has contacts off-world, but they're not like high-level government diplomats. They're like super fans of this fortune teller that works for her.
Gotcha. So I guess, and maybe this is just something that Lachlan can't get from this conversation. Is he able to pick up any of like the monetary connection between her and Bassett, or is it more that Bassett is just using her information to make money?
Make a politics check here.
Sweet.
Your talk with her, she's let down her defenses enough you might pick up on something.
Cool. All right. +5. What? That's pretty good again. That's a 10.
Okay.
That's a 15.
So there's information she lets you know that she should not have, and it slowly becomes apparent to you that whether she's working with Bassett or not directly, these people who've been going hands off with you, where your accounts are drying up, their business isn't working with you, and their donations are ending, she is at least partially or totally responsible for some of that. Her girls are essentially finding information, or possibly one of them is setting people up for like sex scandals and then ruining their business, or the threat of ruining their business, like, we'll ruin your entire life unless you do this for us.
Blackmail schemes.
So
Yes.
they're running a giant racketeering and extortion scheme.
Yes.
Cool.
So she doesn't directly say any of that to you, but she has enough of the puzzle pieces. Lachlan is a smart cookie. You start picking up the fact that this woman has basically been a walking nightmare to Whittington. In between also actually being like one of the top business people on Whittington. Whether she's working directly with Bassett or not, his rise is tied to hers, and she's going up in the world.
Got it. All right, that's awesome. That's exactly what I need. Now I need to just figure out what Lachlan wants to do with this information.
Well, she wants to know if you want in on any of these schemes, basically.
So that's the thing is, so
from her point of view, she basically thinks that you and Bassett are still kind of like in a shadow war, and she's willing to go, like, she knows that a couple of her actions have screwed you over, and she's willing to do the same back to Bassett on your behalf for a price.
So I think
both sides.
I think what Lachlan intimates is that he's like interested and will like talk more about it. Like he wants to like string it along a little bit, because his initial goal is going to be to try to like actually get this lady to like flip and join his side. And if he doesn't think that's possible, he's just going to use her
she
to
basically
take down
offers
Bassett.
to work against. It doesn't seem like she's ever going to take any one person's side specifically. She's been on his side only because he got there first, and she's willing to work with you as well if you give her a good incentive to screw over Bassett.
Sure. Trying to think what Lachlan would do.
If you want to wait until after the Kerensky ball,
I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to try to like slow play it, because and just to give the audience some insight on what I'm thinking is, right now both Sam as the player and Lachlan as the character are kind of unsure if the best way to play this is to try to like just stay out of this and then like use this lady to sink Bassett legally, or if he's better off trying to play this kind of shadow war game and kind of play on Bassett's level and just like out slimeball him. And I'm not 100% sure which route Lachlan would take, so I need to think
YouTube
about it
comments
a little
will
bit.
let you know which route you should take. We're waiting for a big spoon, 2-paragraph spoilered comment on Discord.
To be clear, AB, just because this is something that I feel like Lachlan would at least kind of have an awareness of, does he have a sense for like how easy or not easy it would be to try to like take down Bassett in a legal fashion with this? Like, is this the kind of thing that does well in noble court? Is it like no one really cares what laws you're breaking?
The problem here is that if you bring this to noble court, you can definitely sink him. You're also going to sink a ton of other people along the way. You're going to knock down a lot of dominoes, and you're going to make a lot of enemies.
Got it. So there's no way to...
The other thing is, though, that most of the dominoes you're knocking down, Bassett has already knocked them over at least once.
Got it. So basically there's going to be way more collateral damage to deal with him legally.
Massive collateral. It will like you'll with this information, Sebastian Bassett blackmailing business leaders on behalf of a essentially intelligence agency, civilian blackmail agency. That's like that's bad for Sumire Shoshone. It's bad for him. It's probably not great for you since you've been politically allied with him. But of course, if you
But
take
if
him
I'm
down,
the one who takes him down,
Yeah.
then it's that like kind of helps. That's honestly why I'm starting to think that this is the move, is trying to like use this to like turn on him in a public fashion and like be like, egads, I had no idea you would be a criminal. My good friend, Sebastian Bassett, friend and ally who I thought was helping the people of Whittington.
now here it is. Here it is. Sam's like, there's no way we can ever take down Sebastian. He's too good. Then 10 minutes later in the episode, he's like, that's it. I've come up with the plan. I'm going to take down Sebastian Bassett once and for all. I'm a genius.
He finally believes girl.
No, he always believed Kuro.
No,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
thought that we needed to use him for a little bit longer.
No, for sure. I think
Cool.
Anko would definitely want to speak with Lachlan, but we can say that
That's
for
going to
another
have to
time.
be in the next
Yeah,
episode.
we should do that next
Somehow,
time.
I'm not surprised we never actually got to the
to the
Kerensky ball
Kerensky ball.
or the Senate session this episode.
We got some
Everyone-
good scenes in though. The
Yes, we
stuff
did.
with the Arcades was
Oof.
so good. We've been
And every
leading
time-
up to that for so long for Jasper to get turned on by the Arcades.
Finally.
And I'm so glad that the meeting with Lord Shinji or Genji went well with Anko, because I was so worried, like, because Kuro kept having such fucked up meetings with him. Oh my god.
Genji's a good guy. He's the main protagonist of this story.
I mean, I do love him every time we interact with him. He's really
And Genji and Lachlan have had some top tier interactions.
yeah.
Everyone take 3 experience points.
Hey, nice.
Any post-episode thoughts?
So like I know like Anko was doing all kinds of stuff trying to like get some stuff together, and I
Galaxy
do
branding,
appreciate
yeah.
and I do appreciate kind of what, even though it wasn't ultimately what her machinations wanted to go towards with Jacobson, there was a lot of learning in that meeting that I think was really helpful in just understanding like Jacobson's role and bigger picture stuff. So that's kind of what she took away from that, even though it didn't necessarily go the way she wanted.
Hey, actually, I have a technical question because
Okay.
I want to spend my experience.
Yep.
It's unrelated to that.
Okay.
I have 5 XP. I want to buy the Lucky SPA. If I want Lucky 2, do I have to spend 10 XP?
Yes.
Fuck. So I can't buy it modularly.
You can upgrade it at any time with another.
So if I wanted to upgrade like from Lucky 1 to Lucky 2, it would still cost me 10 because I have to spend the 10 XP to get the 2.
No.
No, it costs 5 more.
It costs 5 more for each boost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so then it is modularly.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's modularly.
Okay. Sorry.
You
Okay.
have to
That makes
spend
If you want to
10
buy Lucky
total.
1 now, you spend that money now and you can
I spend the
upgrade it as
5.
you go along.
But,
yeah.
but upgrading it then will cost another 5, et cetera, et cetera. Oh,
Right, so
okay.
it's
That's,
basically for every 5 experience,
Ooh.
you get a CP, right?
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Awesome.
No, I loved everyone's scenes, and dude, AP and Soundwave, great work on the sound bites. Those were awesome.
I
Yeah, good
mean,
stuff.
Eric did his own soundbite all by
That's
himself.
true. That's
I
true.
Primary beer.
Not that accent.
Never your
Oh,
second
man.
choice.
I still at some point need to try to get Jacobson to undermine the primary beer, but I've been so busy with way more important things because we went to fucking war.
Look, man, I can't compete on taste, but I can compete on tradition.
Oh, but
I was thinking if and when like Lachlan is able to do that kind of like sponsorship, like local sponsorship type thing, the kind of ad that Lachlan would go have Jacobson go for in like juxtaposition with like our like down home primary beer ad is one of those like those like total like party drinking ads where it's like, if you drink this alcohol, everyone will want to party with you. I'm talking about
Sebastian
make you
Bassett is
cool.
in the ad.
exactly.
For sure.
That ad
my
is his
God.
whole life. He
Bassett,
lives that
what
ad.
do you want? Let me get one of the golds.
He cracks one open. Periphery gold. It takes me where I want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
oh my god. To
Okay.
the outside.
Neil Buzzard,
No.
I apologize I didn't get your ad in. We literally ran out the time. Like, we're way past time. Any other final comments?
Great game, all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you all next week for the Kerensky Ball, which will be our opening scene after Neo Buzzard's ad.
But